So for those of you that wanted to see Bend, Oregon, here's a little bit of what it's like out here. This is down at the Old Mill District, which is right over there with the 3 stacks. And that's used to be an old mill, and they changed it into a bunch of shops, and just a neat place to go hang out, and especially in the summertime, because there's a river right here, and this is the Deschutes River that goes through the middle of town. And then up here you'll see these peaks, and there's actually 7 of them, 7 peaks, 7 mountains. So just gorgeous area. Huge resort span over Central Oregon. There's Smith Rock, where it's about 10-15 miles and actually north of here, and they do a lot of rock climbing and outdoor activities. And then of course in the summertime they do kayaking, paddleboarding, inner tubing down the river. And we have a bunch of skiing up on Mount Bachelor over there, and it just goes on and on. Fly fishing, some of the best fly fishing on the Deschutes. And so yeah, this is just a few minutes away from where I live. I just walk down here, and it takes about 10-15 minutes, and I'm here. So I get to walk the trail and hang out with the Lord and just have nice, quiet, peaceful time. So just wanted to show all you that haven't seen it. Oh, right across the river there, it's a dog park, and later on in the day, it's kind of early right now, but later on you'll see a bunch of dogs being walked. In fact, this is one of the biggest dog towns on the planet. There's dog parades, which are hilarious, with dogs, hundreds and hundreds of dogs going by. So for all you dog lovers, you would thoroughly enjoy it. So I just wanted to give you a little snapshot and talk with you a little bit about alignment and aligning ourselves with what God says about us, and remaining in that alignment no matter what we see, think, or feel. We know that we've been created in His image. We know that we've been given everything that pertains to life and godliness. We know that we've been given wisdom and understanding and revelation, and we see in part, we know in part, but we're always growing in that. But one thing that He's been really speaking to me about over the years is remaining in alignment with who I know Him to be on a consistent basis. So in other words, if He's always providing and provision is always coming at us, just liken this to like a fire hose or a garden hose, and it's always on when we turn it on, right? The flow is always there, but the minute we pinch the hose or kink it, then the flow stops. And we do that by worrying and fearing and doubting and having unbelief, just by fretting and having anxiety. And we'll pinch the hose and the flow will stop. It will cease by worrying and fretting. That's why He always says to fear not, for I'm with you, and don't just be anxious for nothing, right? So it's really important to keep the flow going by consistently remaining in alignment with not worrying and not fearing. And I know it's easier said than done, but the longer we stay and remain meditating and thinking on those things that are good, true, lovely, and good report, the things that are noble, things that are honorable, things that are of His nature, the longer we stay meditating on that throughout our day, then the less we worry and fear, dread, and have anxiety. It's a given. Some people, it's a real challenge to go there when they're seeing or experiencing lack or hurting in their body or whatever the situation may be. They have a real difficulty, but the truth remains that alignment works. That's why He tells us to think the opposite. One person said, to have another thought. Well, some people just can't get off the fact that they think it's in their DNA and in their gene pool to worry all the time and fret, fear. I was one of those people, worrying and fearing and fretting something, things were going good, something bad's going to happen because things are just going good in this moment. And so you're always dreading or fearing or having that anxiety about the bomb dropping on you, And, when we hear things like the Boston bombing and, 9/11 and these tragedies happening in the world, then we allow that sometimes to saturate us and come upon us in such a degree that we have lost sight of who the greater power is. Greater is He that lives on the inside of me than everything else that's going wrong in the world. That's just truth. And if we focus on the opposite and the devastation that's happening, the news makes it sound like it's happening in every square inch of the planet. But the truth is it's not. Bend, right here where I'm standing, is pretty peaceful. It doesn't mean that there's not chaos going on somewhere in somebody's house, but it shall not come near me, Only with my eyes shall I see the reward of those that, live away from God. It doesn't mean that He's not loving them and wants to see them free from all of the pain and the trauma. He does. But the truth of the matter is that it's always going to continue in this world, and we cannot allow it to affect us. Because He gives us the empowerment to overcome. He already has. And so aligning ourselves with His nature, aligning ourselves with the power that's in us, aligning ourselves with the real-time flow of His provision, the real-time flow of His health, His peace, His protection, that's always flowing towards us and in us. And He never shuts it off. So we're the ones that shut that off by how we act, feel, and think. And, some people say, well, why did that stuff happen at Boston? Why did it, these people were innocent. They're just, running and having a good time. Well, the reality is we live in a fallen world. And like I said, those things are going to happen. But a lot of people that I'm sure were in the vicinity had a thought or a feeling or an unction to either move out of the area or engage in helping somebody else. And so there's a lot of good going on in the midst of the tragedy is what I'm saying. And I'm not trying to be insensitive in any way. I think it's a horrific thing that happened. It's horrible, and I hate evil. And because of that stuff that's going on, we need good in the world. And to watch, I wish the news would just show the good stuff happening too, right afterwards, with everybody diving in and saving lives and comforting people that were in horrific pain and all of the good things that are coming through a tragedy like this. But no, they focus on the negative alone, and then for some reason people buy it. It's the negative and the violence and the sex and all that stuff sells, but the good stuff happening, for some reason, the human nature just doesn't want to go there a lot. But I do. I want to focus on all the good we can in this world. So aligning ourselves with the fruit of the Spirit when we're dealing with others, when we have the challenge. Just aligning is so important. Morning. And aligning with love, aligning with peace, aligning with patience, aligning with joy, aligning with goodness, aligning with long suffering. Those are all wonderful attributes of who God is, what His nature is like. And that was seen and known and shown at places like Boston and 9/11 and any time a tragedy strikes. And so people look and see that and they go, wow, there still is good in this world. So it attracts people to the goodness so that they can fall in love with Jesus. And I mean, it's the goodness of God that overcomes evil. And we just need more goodness in this world. So just some thoughts on alignment and just the challenge that we have within us, the war, the internal war of what happens when we remain negative. Boy, I tell you, there is such a thing as energy and electricity and the energy waves that are bouncing, and everything's made of energy, you know. And we can either draw that negative energy or we can have that positive energy, and that's just a scientifically known fact. That's not new agey. That's known. So don't get caught up on that. But we do. You can feel the atmosphere in a room when somebody's torqued off or has an issue or is angry, you know. So being encouraging to one another and staying in the right alignment according to God's nature is where we want to be. All right, so here I will leave you again with a shot of Bend, and you have a wonderful moment in time, whatever you're doing.